Hi, hello, good evening. Welcome back to the lecture series on human capital management. In the previous session, we had a discussion on introduction to strategic human resource management, aims and features of human resource management, distinguish between strategic human resource management and traditional HRM. So these are the things that we had discussed in the previous session. So today in this session we are going to understand the scope of SHRM. The range of activities and themes encompassed by SHRM is complex and goes beyond the responsibilities of personnel managers into all aspects of managing people. So actually, before the before the discovery of SHRM, all HR activities are concentrated in the hands of the personnel manager or human resource manager. But now, so it is a responsibility of all the line managers and all the people in the organization towards the human resource activities. Mabi, Salman and Story have studied the subject from our distinct perspective. The social and economic context of SHRM, including factors in the internal and external environment that influence the demand and implementation of HR strategies. The correlation between the SHRM and the business performance, emphasizing the measurement of performance, management style, and the development of new form of organization. So that is the need of the day. The relationship between the SHRM and the development of organizational capabilities, particularly the knowledge management. Now let's understand what is basically strategy is all about. A strategy is a pattern or a plan that integrates an organization's major goals, policies of the organization, and action sequences in a coherent linear of decisions. Now let's understand what is strategy. Strategy is nothing but it is a pattern, it is a plan. Okay, so it could be described in this manner. It is a plan or a similar idea like direction, guide, and course of action to be taken in the process of achieving the organizational goals. So it is a pattern that provides for consistent behavior over time, a perspective on an organization's fundamental way of doing things. More recently, academicians have stressed both implementation as well as planning aspects of policy. This shift in thinking has been from the strategy to structure and the system to purpose, process and people. It is a later development represented by this shift that represents the modern thinking on the subject. Choffey considers that academically strategy is viewed in three distinct but sometimes conflicting ways. So let's understand what is strategy according to Choffey. The linear model has been used by most of the researchers It focuses on planning and forecasting of likely events. Sequence of events is traced through past and present activities to its logical culmination in the value or end to be achieved in the future. The end reached or desired is the organizational goal to be reached through a well networked matrix of strategies and hierarchic purposive behavior is pursuance of it. What is adaptive strategy? Okay, that is the three distinct strategies have been identified by Chaffee. Among them, first is adaptive strategy. It is most closely associated with the idea of strategic management. This model focuses on means and is largely concerned with achieving fit of a strategy with respect to internal and external factors. Interpretive strategy. So, this model represents a minority view. It sees strategy as a metaphor and therefore not as something measured or measurable, but rather as something perceived in qualitative terms. Okay. Now, Mitzberg has identified the 10 schools of strategy research which have developed since strategic management emerged as a field of study during the 1960s. So, now let's understand all those schools of strategy research. Number one, the design school, the way the strategy is perceived as a process of conception through a choice of alternatives. All contextual and contingent factors are taken into account in arriving at choices. Number two, the planning school, whereby strategy is interpreted a formal process and a deliberate planned construct. Strategy making is put in a temporal perspective in that it is seen as evolving gradually out of a series of steps. Number three, positioning school. Okay, it tells that the strategy is pursued as an analytical process. Contingency of situations is taken into account in framing suitable strategies. The entrepreneurial school, which looks upon the strategy as a visionary process, it is a risk-taking activities, it is a feasible activities. Okay, the cognitive school, which opines that strategy is a mental process. It is conceived in the mind of the strategist, and the degree of success attained in practice depends on the quality and the level of cognition of the individual strategist. Sixth school tells about the strategy is conceived as an evolving concept, as constantly growing and developing through the impact and interplay of internal and external forces and factors. You know that internal forces which are controllable and external forces which are very much influenced on the performance of the organization. Okay, so that is also to be taken into account. Seventh, the power school. It views strategy as a process of negotiation resulting in an LCM, least common denominator, through interplay of relevant forces and factors where bargaining power for the interest groups is a factor of consequence. Eighth, the cultural school. It tells about the strategy is perceived as a reflection of organization culture or mode of functioning. Okay, how it functions. So that tells the strategy according to cultural school. The environmental school, which looks upon the strategy as a reactive product, that means how the organization is going to react due to the changes which are happening in the external factors, environmental factors. Okay, the configuration school, whereby strategy is perceived as a process of transformation from the actual to the desired level of affairs. Now, the effective development and implementation of strategy depends on the strategic capabilities of the organization. How well the organization is prepared to adopt the strategies, okay, which includes not only determining the strategic goals but also developing and implementing strategic plans, okay, employing all those strategic plans in the management. So let's try to clarify the meaning of each of the mentioned variables. Number one, competitive advantage, strategic intent, resource based strategy, strategic fit, strategic capability, and strategic management. So let's understand these six strategies, variables, one by one. Competitive advantage arises when a firm creates added and unique value for its customers. A firm selects markets in which it can excel and presents a moving target in front of its competitors by continually improving upon its own position. Number two, strategic intent. It refers to the leadership position of the organization wishes to achieve through articulation of motives and establishes a clear criterion by which the progress towards its achievement has to be measured. Number three, the concept of strategic fit. It implies that in order to maximize the competitive advantage of the firm, must match its capabilities and resources to opportunities and constraints in the external and internal environment. Fourth, resource based strategy. It means strategic capability of a firm depends on practicability of the firm or its resource capacities, okay, especially distinctive resources that fetch the competitive advantage to the firm. Borney proposes four criteria for deciding whether a resource can be regarded as a distinctive capabilities. Number one, it must result in value creation for the customer. Number two, its presence should be distinguished rarity compared to the competition, compared to other competitors. It should be non-imitable and should have non-substitutability. So these are the four criteria. So that decides, okay. So that it decides according to Body that resource, that is the asset, that is a strategy that the organization should have in order to excel in the process, production, and marketing. Okay, so they must have some distinctive capabilities. Okay, so these are the five capabilities the organization should have in order to go for excel in the particular field. Number five, strategic capability is a concept that refers to the ability of the individual organization to develop and implement strategies that help to achieve and sustain the competitive advantage on a continuous basis. It is based on deep understanding of the competitive environment. Okay, so what is the intensity of the competition that the organization is facing? and the competitor's strengths and weaknesses. So that needs to be understood. The resource base and potential of the organization and the values that engender commitment from the stakeholders of the organization. Sixth, strategic management. It is operational of the concept of strategy. So it is an operational part. It refers to the managerial decision that establish the context of organizational functioning, guide internal activities, and determine the path of organizational long-term performance. It involves anticipating changes in the environment and developing proper responses. The concern is with the broader issues in the organizational functioning. Strategic management is thus explained in this manner. Number one, a set of decision and actions resulting in the formulation and implementation of strategies designed to achieve the objectives of the organization. Concerned with policy decisions affecting the entire organization, the overall objectives are being to position the organization to deal effectively with its environment. So therefore, strategic human resource management may be described as linking of human resource strategy with the strategic goals and objectives in order to achieve, in order to improve the performance in the business and foster an organizational culture and innovation and flexibility. Strategic management deals both ends and means. As we know that the end, it gives the vision of how things are likely to shape up, how the things are likely to happen. As means, it shows the path of the vision's realization in practice. How those visions have to be realized in the process of achieving certain good performance, right? So let's stop with this. Okay, so we will continue the further aspects in the next class. Okay, see you all, have a good day, bye.